Good morning, this is Andy with Mountain Computers, the GoGreen PC TuneUp guy. Today is February 8th, 2020. It's a Saturday. I decided to bring up a couple good questions about my latest builds, my latest purchases, both for my clients and for my development and design needs. And the trends, oh by the way, coffee. Love coffee. And the latest development trends that I'm sensing in the world. Has the time come that my new builds, my new computer builds, regardless of the hardware, should we be switching to Linux as a development design platform? Has the time come? That's been the question for the last 20 years for all the Linux lovers. Now mind you, the Mac people, on the other hand, it's like the professional priests and zealots, or pros, priests, and zealots poem thinking that I've always shared with people. I'm a professional. I will choose the best gear, best price, best quality, best maintenance documentation, etc. Both the design, build, and purchase, and supply, resell. Versus the pro, I'm a pro, versus the priest, that's the Mac people. They say I'm the way, the only way, and you only can go to heaven through me, kind of thing. Those are the Apple people. Now mind you, they cornered the market on publishing, typesetting, and stuff like that for a long time, newspapers, etc. I remember a newspaper after I got out of Microsoft that I was helping, the Humboldt Sun up in Winnemucca, after I relocated from Redmond, Washington. Bellevue, Snohomish, Woodinville. They had a Panther system that they used, Quark Express, on all their Macs. That's pretty cool. But the priests, those people were pretty fanatical about their Mac platforms. And for every right, you know, especially with even video editing. Macintosh had it cornered. But for us, at the time, I was a Windows guy. I had a strong technology leg, a very strong business leg too. My business leg today is a lot stronger than it used to be. So I have a balance between business. You know, everybody has two legs. When I think about it, it's like it's a two-horse. You know, you should have two horses. You know, two businesses always. When one's up, the other's down, and vice versa. And when they're both down, that's bad. And when they're both up, that's great. But when it comes down to the technology side, a business leg, a technology leg, the acumen for wearing all caps and helping people, being a leader, comes down to technology. That brings me back to the pro. I'm a pro. The priests, those are the Mac people. And the Linux people, are those, I used to say they were the zealots. They are just fanatical about, you know, their Linux distribution that they were on at the time. But that's not a bad thing. A guy I used to work with down in South Reno at Redundant Networks, he was the senior system administrator. His name was Ryan. I won't say his last name. This guy, gosh, what were we running? We had a node room, fully meshed. I was NOC manager. We had 5 network engineers. 5 network engineers, systems administrator, I was NOC manager, interim director, our chief operating officer, our director of facilities, operations. That was real. He was a Mac guy. Oh my God. I won't say his name. Well, yeah, Casey. Casey was cool. He was sort of weird, but he thought the same of me. I was a Microsoft guy. He was a Mac guy. He hated Microsoft stuff. And of course, I didn't really like Mac stuff, but now I do. My Mac Mini is awesome. Where am I going with this conversation? I'm not just trying to wander around here. I'm trying to share a point. Are we, when it comes to Linux distributions, oh my God, there's like 20, but I've stuck to 5. For my servers, CentOS 7, CentOS 8. I had the opportunity to buy like 300 one-use servers for like $1,000 or something like that. And that was down in Phoenix. And they were all running CentOS. Some Red Hat, but mostly CentOS. Linux Mint, love Linux Mint. Deepin, Chinese, but very slick. What's the other one? Peppermint. One of my clients uses a lot of Peppermint OS 9 and now 10. One of my cybersecurity guys, Ira, he's cool. He's a little over the top sometimes, sort of like me, but I'm not sure what his favorite distros of Linux are. I guess my point is here I have my AMD 3950X with 128 gig of DDR4 RAM, 3000, with a stock cooler, Wraith stock cooler. But I'm using Arctic Silver Fox thermal paste, which dropped the idle time of the CPU from 2527 down to 1315 C at idle. That's 10 degrees C. Just by changing your stock thermal paste to a higher grade quality. I think AMD should just, flat out buy Arctic Fox or something like that. But are we going to put Linux on this, and which version? That's the question. So I don't even know if I'm going to post this video. I've rambled, wandered around a little bit. So you got the Pro, Priest, and the Zealot. The Pro, that's me. Microsoft, Linux, Mac. Do them all. Integrations. Doesn't mean you side with one group. I mean, you just know who rises to the top. It's like that magic quadrant. You're not in charge of all of it, but you got to be aware of all of it. You got to be wide as well as you are deep. That's one of the things about Oregon Tech systems engineers, computer systems engineering technologists. If you're good, you're open to all things, and you're quick to figure out which pieces go together when it comes to integrations. I remember one of our integration classes, systems integration. The guy who taught it was a nut job. Probably thought the same of me. His name was Mr. Fuller, Robert Fuller. Was his name Fuller? He's the robotics guy too. He'd always bring these robots to our basketball games. I can't remember. Was his name that? I don't know. I'll have to look it up. I'll put it in the notes. Nice guy. Nice guy. I mean, he was like a nutty professor. But his systems integration labs were cool. I mean, we were doing all sorts of integration stuff. We never got into robotics that much, even though the college did eventually, down in Purvine Hall, Oregon Tech, up in Klamath Falls. When you hear of Oregon Tech, don't think of Portland Metro, don't think of all the other campuses, even though Portland, that's their bread and butter kind of thing. But ever since OSHI, the Oregon State System of Higher Education, sort of broke up and they created a southernly, sort of a southern whatever organization. And our new OIT president, I can't remember his name, he's some Indian dude. Really nice guy. Smart. Different than Martha Ann Dow. She was there, she pushed the medical stuff, which is good for OHSU and a couple of my fiancés, etc. They were in the medical field, radiology technologists, medical technologists. My brother graduated from Oregon Tech in 72, or 71, 72. I graduated from there 20 years later. But anyhow, back to technology and what we're doing today. This computer right here is one of my do-it-yourself. And that actually is the company that made the case, Green. Do-it-yourself, GoGreen PC TuneUp cases. It's got the MSI X570 MPG board. Yeah. Got my MSI R7. I've got my 970 Evo NVMe M2. Got my new Radeon XFX R580. That's cool. Got my 3950 Xbox. Got my Corsair 1x32, 4 of them. Still got my 2700X right there. My 3700X right there. Another X570 board. I wrote some things in my blog about optimizing your motherboard RAM selection. It's important to maximize your motherboard potential. Don't be stupid. It's not like everybody's rich, but you want to maximize the potential in your purchases, in your designs and builds. To where if it's got 4 slots, and the max is 128 gig, the math is simple. That's 4 times 32, okay? So if you're going to use 1 slot, try to get to 32. Now, mind you, 2 to 3 years ago, that was impossible. The board compatibility, matchup between CPU, board, RAM, was very, very limited. It just now, I think based on my observation, just now broke into the 1x32s being price per gigabyte cheaper than your 2x4, 2x8, 2x16, 4x4, 4x8 pairs. So I put that in my blog with the part numbers. Corsair, thank you Corsair. I love G-Skill. I love G-Skill. Been pushing G-Skill forever. But one of my higher end builds, it was Corsair Vengeance. I mean, I did an i9 9900 K build in one of my previous videos, and the kit, the RAM kit, I think was to 128. I can't remember, but it came with a cooler. It had a fan cooler that sit on top and plugged into the board. This RAM here, I don't have separate cooling on the RAM, even though I should. I'll monitor the temps. But hey, so what am I going to do? Am I going to go with Microsoft, or am I going to go with Linux and replace my i7-920 Alienware Aurora? I think I'm just going to move that to the side and use this separately, because I do have some good software on that, development software and design software. I'll just use my backup keys for my Adobe Creative Suite. I have 3 sets of keys for CS4, CS6. But with Linux, I don't need to worry about licensing. But then when it comes to like graphics and software development, I think I might VirtualBox Windows 10 on Linux in order to get my Windows 10 Pro stuff, to where if I need to switch into a VirtualBox on a Linux platform, I don't know. It's Saturday morning. I gotta drink my coffee. This is gonna be one of those videos that nobody watches because it looks long. Well, hey. Oh, the GoGreen PC TuneUp software, it's doing good. Sales have slowed a little bit, but I haven't been pushing it. I know a lot of people mention it, and it works. Is there any bugs reported? Only one interesting modification I think I'm going to make. I'm going to add ACLs or iCACLs to the Windows temp directory and to the app data temp directory for everyone. Hate to do that, but Microsoft still, too many people complain about error codes, 2503, 2502, uninstalling and installing MSIs, installing applications, because they don't have permissions, or they don't elevate permissions in order to get things installed, uninstalled. It's weird. I mean, I agree, I don't like to have everyone with full permissions on some of my directories. It just seems a little scary. What do you do? I mean, the workaround is bring up a command prompt in administrative mode, launch the MSI from that. Most people don't know how to do that. Can I do a shout out and say thank you to anyone right now? Yeah, why not? I think Microsoft, big shout out. I like your open thinking. There's a couple of my friends from Microsoft from a long time ago who are still there. Wayner, awesome guy. New guy, Larry Osterman. I do vaguely remember him. He's starting to share some of his history, like the forward versus backslash. Oh my god, that knowledge in me was archived and put into cold storage a long time ago. For him to bring that out and discuss what and why that came to be. I mean, I remember I had a father-in-law who used WordPerfect 5.0, the old blue, white text, gray text. The slash was transfer load. Oh my god, he just loved that slash. Transfer load. CPM, yeah, I learned CPM. I also learned System 5 on Hazeltine Harris 500s. The escape key, system attention prompt, system attention, system interrupt. I don't know. It's a Saturday. Gotta relax. Other shout-outs. Oh, I gotta do a shout-out to YouTube. Man, I wish I'd have bought stock with you guys 20, 30 years ago, like $10,000, $15,000. Because you guys are really doing well. Shout out to Star Trek. Thank you for the Picard series, CBS Access All One, whatever. Had to pay for that. What else? Netflix, thank you. Doing some good stuff. The Oscars are in a couple days. I don't watch that stuff. I sort of like note it. Slashdot. Hey, Slashdot. Keep the politics out, even though I sometimes post on stuff. And all the far right, far left people, keep them out of there, please. I mean, I'm more of an independent / Republican / moderate kind of person. I'm a pro, you know? I do have my opinions. I think Trump is, he's incredible. He's incredible on one end, and he's also crazy on the other. So sometimes it takes a crook to catch a crook, a thief to catch a thief. And everybody gets used in various ways in our karma, in our life. And for whatever reason, folks, he's in that chair. So get used to it. And if you, a lot of people don't like him. A lot of my clients, they have nothing really good to say about him. Yet, you can't argue with the results. Sometimes the method to his madness is interesting. I know a couple CEOs like that. I would have to admit, he could achieve the same results just as fast, if not faster, with probably a little bit more ethics. But that is yet to be said. He's there, I'm not. I can't be telling people how to do stuff when I'm here and they're there. But quantum mechanics has a funny way of working. You suggest something to the universal world, it might actually happen. And if you're not aware of that in your life, at your age, any age, the power of suggestion is amazing. The power of the will is amazing. Look at children. They have no fear. They have no failure. I mean, this one lady from the VP of marketing at Red Hat, she said, you know, you should, you know you're going to fail. I mean, it's like telling kids, yeah, you need to plan for lots of things. But my response to that lady was, if that's your first thing coming out of the box, you know, the dugout, is that the first one? Prepare to strike out! Prepare to strike out! Going up to the plate, prepare to strike out. Are you kidding me? No. The word is, the takeaway should be, is get one for the team. Power of positive thinking. Yeah, you may strike out. However, that shouldn't be your first thought coming out of the dugout going up to the plate. So, the Vice President of Marketing at Red Hat or what have you, the collaboration team, if you're a developer, the try, catch, finally, that's there, folks. Lawyers know this. We have statisticians, null hypothesis tests, litmus tests. I mean, why test for all positives when all you got to do is test for one failure? I mean, I know that. Do marketing people know that stuff? No, I think they're sort of rah-rah people. Rah-rah, hoorah. Ballmer was that way. Developers, developers, developers. Sweating his butt off. But, hey, You know, somebody's got to be the fool on stage, or be the fool. But you know, the takeaway is, you know, it's not hard to be like that when you're already number one. You can get away with a lot of stuff when you're number one. If you're number two, you got to sort of do a little bit of both. Be pragmatic, be professional, but then also be creative and aggressive. You know. What else? Any other shout-outs? Well, I think that's about it. Stay healthy. One of my friends had a heart attack a couple weeks ago. Reached out to him. He's being a guy, Eric. Try to follow up with him. Go over. I don't know. It's like guys are just like, no, I'll be fine. You know, single guys, older, independent thinkers. No, I'll be fine. Just leave me alone. Women would be like, oh, please come over. You know, give me some crumpets or give me something sweet, chocolate. Dark chocolate is healthy. Very good. Hydrate yourself. I tell my wife all the time, drink lots of water. If you have coffee, drink water. Reorganizing stuff too. So I don't know how this video is going to turn out. Oh, by the way, this case right here had my Gigabyte GA970A DS3P motherboard with an AMD FX 8350, 16 gig of RAM, G-Skill, 2/8, and an HP SSD S600, 2.5 inch SSD, SATA drive. It's perfect. This little stuff right here. I mean, this little. Let me show you. This little build right here is something else. I mean, you can take just a simple 120 gig SSD, simple board, even though this is full. It's not going to be an ATX. You need the full site. You need an ATX case. You get your RAM. You get your F3 1600, C9D 16 GXM, G-Skill. Very cool. And your board. That's it. Keep that stuff. Even though you pull it out of the case. Oh, and always keep the faceplate. Always keep the faceplate close. I've lost faceplates. Or people on my team lost faceplates while we're pulling things out. And then when you have to put everything back together without the faceplate, it looks hokey. It works. Doesn't have a lot of support. You want to keep that VGA header riser support there. I think that's it. This is Andy from Mountain Computers, the GoGreen PC TuneUp guy. Today is February 8th. This is a long video. I think I'm going to go with Linux. I really got to go with Linux on this build. I'm going to pull out 64 gig of RAM, leave it at 64 versus 128. Use the other 64 for my... I might split. I need another board. I need another X570. Why didn't I go with the B450? Just because I like the MSI lineup. The B450s. No. ROG is good. ROG is good. Ryzen compatible. Absolutely. 2000, 3000 series. Ryzen 2, Ryzen 3. But what version of Linux? What version of Linux? Which version of Linux? One of my bosses used to correct me on my English all the time. I, we, whatever. I think communication was her strength, but anything else, no. I guess that's important. Leadership. You gotta have leadership knowledge. Technical knowledge, but also leadership communication. I mean, this is not an example of good communication. Actually it is, but it's sort of weird. So anyhow. Anything else? Oh, like, subscribe, and share. Reorganizing our entire business. Gutting out our retail. Getting rid of our retail. We've been doing that for a year, 2 years now. It's not something you can just do overnight because you got to migrate your business slowly where you ramp up one end while you're reducing the other. But then you're also keeping the other because it's a good fallback in case you need it. You know, don't burn the bridge before you've got everything across. Because everybody who brought you to this point, you don't want to like tell them, no, you know, don't need you anymore. Well, we do, and I need you, you need me. But we just need to grow up a little bit. You know, I've got some newcomers coming to the company too that are on the retail side. That's fine. Referrals are great. But when you have 27,000 customers, 2,500 businesses, roughly 5% of your retail is always coming and going, or less, sometimes 2 to 3% per month. And then your businesses, you will, 5 to 10% per month will tap and give you a ring. But they're all in flux as well. So as long as you have good cash flow, good liquidity, your debt's going down. My debt's gone, thank God, finally. I don't want to build it back up. Other than these bills, I outlaid about $2,500 just to get these going, these 3 builds, and that's fine. Some of them I'll sell. I got one of them already marked for a client. But for me, I'm going to step up from an Alienware Aurora i7-920 to an MSI AMD 3950X. So, anyhow. Andy from Mountain Computers, have a great day. This is going to be a crazy video, but I might post it anyhow. Who knows? Some people like to kick back, relax, watch one of my videos. I didn't crop in on just my green screen and me. I included a little bit more. It's not perfect, but it's paid for. So anyhow, have a great day. Like, subscribe, and share, and more to come. Bye-bye.